Welcome to NCSS Here for You. For over 50 years, Northwestern Counseling and Support Services has been providing access to quality psychosocial services to the residents of Franklin and Grand Isle counties. Over the years, as the needs of the community have changed, so too have the programs and services that we make available to assist children, adolescents, adults, families, and seniors. We take our role in the community seriously, and we strive to provide the highest quality services. According to Eric Erickson, a noted developmental psychologist, every person must pass through a series of 8 interrelated stages over the entire life cycle. NCSS provides a continuum of services to meet the needs of individuals who at any point seek assistance. NCSS's purpose is creating a stronger community, one person at a time. Now, let's get to today's show. I'm Joe Halco, Director of Community Relations of Northwestern Counseling and Support Services, and welcome to another episode of NCSS Here for You. Each month on this program, we discuss human services topics, and we do that with staff from one of our 3 service divisions. Our 3 service divisions are Behavioral Health Services, Children, Youth, and Family Services, and Developmental Services. And, on occasion, we have a guest from an organization that NCSS collaborates with throughout the course of the year. This month's episode is titled The NCSS Academy of Learning. The NCSS Developmental Services Division's Academy of Learning specializes in the education of persons with varying abilities. This is achieved by offering programs to address the increasing needs of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities by providing skill building, training, academics, and practical community-based programming to increase independent living. To discuss the Academy of Learning in greater detail, I'm pleased to introduce this month's guests. They are Amanda Morong, Academy of Learning Coordinator, and Emily Norris, Program Manager for the Developmental Services Division. And I want to welcome both of you to the program.
Thanks, Joe.
So to begin with, what inspired the Academy of Learning program itself?
The Academy Learning Program was inspired by actually the person served in developmental services. We were seeing more and more need from clients stating they wanted to learn more independence, they want to live on their own, they want to learn how to cook, how to be healthy and do all these things, and also they wanted socialization within each other with peers. So we created the program with what they wanted, it's all completely client driven.
And how long has the Academy of Learning been providing programming to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
We've been providing services for 3 years now. Yep.
And how extensive is the curriculum?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually quite extensive. Every day that we're running, we are working with the individual served around their goals, things that they want to learn about, things that might be in their hopes and dreams. So we really took kind of a tally or a poll, if you will, of what do you guys want to learn about? What are you interested in? What do you need to grow in your life? So those are the things that we focus on. We've grouped each day by theme, if you will. And Amanda, our theme days are?
Monday is independent living skills, so we focus on cooking, on budgeting, on going to the store and where do we find the items you need, kitchen safety, anything from using the microwave down to using a stove, knife safety, anything like that. Then Wednesdays we do health and wellness. We focus a lot on healthy living, could be from anywhere from cooking to maybe trying new exercises. Where to find those resources in your community, is going to a gym and seeing that aspect, or Collins Pearly, or wherever it might be in the area locally where they can access the community. And then Thursdays is our academic day. So we work on anything from reading, writing, arithmetic, down to field trips, to art museums, to Church Street, to wherever. I mean, they're always out in the community doing something as far as Montpelier to up here in the area.
And with these various offerings, do participants have the opportunity to choose as few or as many subjects that they'd like to take in each of the semesters that you've been offering
Yeah, they do.
these courses?
Yep, they do. We offer full day services. So if someone wants to be enrolled in 1, 2, or all 3 days, we can work with them to make that a possibility. We have people who will pick a Monday because they want to learn about a certain category or topic, and then find that over time they're not really into it, or it's not really adhering to their goals. They have the option to change days. We're very flexible, and although we've been around for 3 years, we're still growing and learning every day. So enrollment goes up and down on any given week because people want the right to switch days and switch what they're learning about. So we're very flexible.
Now, is there any one, or maybe more than one, that actually take the full complement of all the days? Is that?
There are. Do you have a specific number? I don't know it in mind.
It's always changing.
Yeah,
One
up
semester
and down.
you might have one person that wants to take all 3 days, another semester 2, maybe 1. It all depends on, as Emily said, what they're doing in that aspect, depending on, a lot of it has to do with the seasons. Winter, we tend to have more people in the classroom active, where they're not going to summer camp or stuff like that.
Sure.
Summers tend to be family vacations or summer camps or stuff like that.
Yep. I think it's exciting because every semester that we offer, the curriculum is different. The theme day will stay the same, but the curriculum changes, which is nice. So the people served don't get complacent or bored with what we're doing. We try and keep it fresh and new and fun, because I think it's how we're going to keep our enrollment up, which is huge to the success of the program.
So, as you've said, this being the 3rd year, so the theme day remains the same. However, what's wrapped in within those days has changed over time. So, as you say, whatever they're doing this particular semester is completely different from last year and the year before. It's just that it's within
a theme.
the same general theme.
Yep.
We're always building on those skills. We may go back and review them just for new participants in and out, but we're always building on those skills, so it is always different. Or you're learning the same skill in a different setting. So maybe, this semester in particular, for Mondays, they're doing, how do you make a meal out of, 1 or 2 ingredients? Because if you're going to be living on your own, you tend to be more likely to use it that way. So whereas the semester before, we've done like Spanish cooking, we've done Mexican, we've all done different types. So it all depends. They're still getting those cooking skills, but it's different types of cooking, as an example.
And to chime in on the offerings, it's like we kind of discussed earlier. It's driven by what the individuals serve, what they want, what they're interested in. We've had plenty of consumers say, well, we really want to learn about gardening or canning or eating healthier, eating clean. I mean, we're always open to what they want to learn about, because that's what's driving this program, is the individualized needs of the people that we serve, which is a really cool aspect of it.
So I would say what also makes this probably different from many programs that they've ever been involved in is the fact that they're actually involved in what the curriculum's going to be, as opposed to, you know what I mean, somebody saying to them, this is what we're going to offer and this is what you're going to do.
You got it. Yep.
If you're not interested, so be it.
We do a survey every day, and in that survey, it's what do you want to learn about, what do you want to see next, and that's where we pull our ideas. So it's from them stating, I want to learn Zumba, or I want to learn yoga, or actually right now they're doing P90X, believe it, of all things, because that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. So I think it's important to recognize that, as you said before, it's person-centered. It's not centered around what we want. We're not dictating, this is what we're teaching. It is around what they want, and it's person-centered, which we're very proud of, because it's not easy to achieve, but we've done it.
Now, I know you said that you survey often, excuse me, but what have participants had to say in these surveys about their experiences? I understand the fact that they may express things that they'd like you to offer in the future, but what about any of the surveys that kind of encapsulate what they've already been through? What types of responses have you gotten?
A lot of, it's like, what made you proud today? And a lot of that can be anything from, the socialization skills. A lot of what we get is making friends, or a certain friend, or relationship building. A lot of it is a socialization piece that we hear a lot about. They love the program. I mean, I think our satisfaction rate is in the 98-99 percentile. And usually we'll find that 1% when they explain they've had a bad day, usually it's because something happened at home. And so they classify that as a bad day. We don't, usually have unsatisfied. It's probably because it is client driven, but it's all how much they love the program or love the day or loved cooking, or how maybe, you know, a Valentine's Day card from this person made me proud, or, you know, going walking at Collins Pearly made me happy because I was able to get out, or we volunteer at the senior center, so that makes a lot of people proud because they feel like they're giving back to their community. So we hear a lot about that, so that's some of the feedback we've gotten.
And how do you measure like taking it to the participant level, how do you measure their progress? And if so, I mean, do you measure it? And if so, how do you do that?
We do measure it. We have an assessment that's called an independent living assessment, and in this it's broken down into different categories. I want to say there's about 15 of them, so it's from like vocational to kitchen to hygiene, personal care, and it's kind of a rating system within it. So can this client microwave a meal? You know, you give it a rating scale, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it goes beyond microwaving, but that's just an example. And you rate it, and so that's kind of the assessment tool we're using, and also building our lesson plan off from saying, besides the client, what they want to see, but also how do we build on those skills? Where is our skill level, and where do we need to build on next?
We're working hard to do, the acronym is an ILA, but we're working hard to do ILAs on not only every individual who attends Academy of Learning, but every individual served in the Developmental Services Division as a whole, because we really feel it's important to gauge where are you at in this area, where do you want to improve, where do you need to improve your quality of life. So that's a big one for us.
So you actually take that beyond, as you say, Emily, the Academy itself.
Absolutely.
And you're trying to take it amongst every individual that the Developmental Services Division serves.
Yep, correct.
That's commendable.
It's been a great tool for us. It allows us to provide quality services, meaningful services. So yeah, we're very excited about it.
Now, are there community partners that you collaborate with in this program?
Absolutely. In the last 3 years, there's more than I can name at this moment, but the schools, the different high schools have expressed interest. We've contracted with a couple different high schools who have students in their senior year who are on, you know, an IEP or in a special education program who want to smooth that transition service into adult services. They want to smooth it. So they'll ask, can our student attend your programming for 1, 2, 3 days a week? They've been a huge proponent of this program, and it's been greatly appreciated. We've also worked with People's Trust has come in. They've done a training on finances. We've had Burlington Airport open up their doors and let individuals sort of go and see what that world is like. We've had people from the hospital come in. We've had people from different state employees in different realms of expertise come in. Zumba instructors come in.
Different politicians.
Yep.
It's, like Emily said, more than we can count.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We try to do community inclusion as much as possible. There's at least something every day. I know I've mentioned the senior center. We go there. We try to do something every day where we're getting out in the community and we're collaborating with somebody or doing something with somebody. Meals on Wheels. We do a Meals on Wheels run every Monday. Stuff like that. We're always out there doing something.
Now, the Meals on Wheels would be something through the senior center, I take it?
Yep.
Are there other aspects of programming that you're involved with the senior center, or is it primarily the Meals on Wheels?
We do Meals on Wheels. We also go and help them set up once a week, set up tables or set up when they have functions and stuff like that. So we're also in the senior center helping them set up in there too. So it's a whole bunch of different. We're trying to get some sort of the clients wanted more volunteer work, so we're doing some sort of volunteer work on every day.
That's excellent. And I would imagine that to them, the volunteering aspect is extremely important to how they feel about themselves.
Absolutely.
And making a contribution and that sort of.
Absolutely. Yeah. They really enjoy doing the Meals on Wheels, and the seniors in our community who receive that service have been grateful, and it's nice to see different faces, smiling faces. It's just giving back, and that's important not only to us but the people that we serve. It's huge.
Now, are there any particular success stories that you'd like to share that demonstrate how the Academy of Learning experience has helped individuals live more independently and be more integrated in the community?
Yeah, we have So depending on a client needs, depend on if they come to the academy supported or not. So we had one client in particular, and he was started supported, had a one-on-one in the room with him, and now he's probably been going just about 3 years now, and he's now independent in the classroom 1 day a week, has worked up to that, is at home can microwave, cook, do his own thing, went from a more supported living model to a more independent living model. Has a girlfriend now, is out talking about his future and with that girlfriend, and really has come out of his shell and kind of is turning more independent.
I'd like to add he's also joined our peer support group, which he was never in before. He's now a pretty big advocate for his peers and goes to the meetings every week. He did the local TV hearing where he spoke up. So he's really come a long way. And when Amanda and I were talking about, who could we discuss that has shown so much growth as a result of this program, and he's definitely one. Yep.
Now, you mentioned the peer group. Can you speak a little bit about, because I know that's an inherent part in developmental services, but certainly having individuals from the academy who are also involved, just so the viewers get a bit of an understanding for the importance of that and how a peer support group works. If you could just speak to that a little bit.
Sure. So our peer support group, we have meetings every Friday. So that's made up of not only individuals that we serve, but any individual in the community with a disability that they would like support by peers. We have peer leaders. Randy Lazat is a peer leader in our area, but they sit down and they essentially are supportive of one another's needs, good times, bad times, raising awareness, advocating on more of a state and government level of what their needs are. We've heard a lot about funding cuts, budget cuts for the Agency of Human Services, more specifically developmental services. So they help provide a voice and a shoulder to their peers to help support these needs and have their needs heard.
And actually, isn't the local peer support group deemed to be one of the strongest and best in the state as a whole?
We're incredibly strong. And to go back to the local access TV hearings, when they went around alphabetically town to town to town, we noticed that St. Albans had the largest volume of peer supports in that hearing, which we were also proud to see. They spoke up. They shared their thoughts, their feelings, and that was huge. It was a proud moment for us and a proud moment for them. Yep.
Now, as you look to the future, are there improvements or enhancements that you'll be adding to make the program even more meaningful for participants? And again, I know you'd mentioned that you survey them often, so you're getting a lot of really good back and forth feedback. But as you look at the future and as the Academy continues to grow, are there things that you can see on the horizon that might be new or different?
The community inclusion piece has been huge for us. I know, and over the years, Joe, you've tackled stigma, and I find that's a hurdle for us, because the Academy of Learning is not just for individuals with disabilities. We'd like our program to be marketed and open as a program to anyone in our community. If anyone wants to learn more about health and wellness, gardening, clean living, clean cooking, whatever we're doing in our curriculum, we want that to be open to community members as well. That's been really important to us, and a struggle to market, a struggle to put it out there. So over the next year, that's something that we're going to really work on, going out and touching base with different community members, other community partners, to see if we can increase the enrollment and provide the benefit to community members.
We've done before. We've had like we did photography a few semesters back, and we had quite a bit community, and so we are trying to find more of those fun little classes that community members might want to take. But again, it's how do we market it and get it out there.
Yep. One other thing is, we've talked about this, we haven't made it happen yet, but BFA St. Albans, who we have really great relationships with, they have a whole pool of seniors who need to do community service as part of their graduation requirement. We would be thrilled and excited to have some of those individuals, I know they have a whole human services program, to come down and maybe do some of that time with us and get to know the people that we serve and continue to build that relationship. That would be a really important thing to do as well over the next year for us.
I think another thing that would do in that particular case that you're saying is it would give some of these young people a much better understanding as far as if they're interested in human services as a
Correct.
career,
Yep.
as an example,
Yep.
as they're ready to go off to college.
Yep.
But it might be a way to have them, at least from the inside out, get a much better understanding of, is it perhaps a field
Yep.
that they would be interested in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, if anyone wants to get in touch with the Academy of Learning, how do they do that? What number do they call, and who do they ask for?
They can call the Academy of Learning. I'm blanking on the number right now. 782-8694.
I don't have the number off the top of my head.
And it's Amanda Morong.
Yeah.
And they can contact me, and I can give them more information.
Yep. You
Okay.
can always just call NCSS,
Yep.
the main line.
The main line number.
524-6555, and speak with an operator, and they can direct you to Amanda Morong or myself, Emily Norris, for more information about enrollment or just programming in general.
And how do the semesters work? I mean, I know we've talked about the fact that there are semesters,
Yep.
but from a standpoint of the year, how does that unfold?
So we have 4 semesters a year. We actually run it, when we say a year, we run it more of a fiscal year. So we run July 1 to June 30th is a year for us. So there's 4 semesters within there. We start the 4th week in July, just because we don't want to compete with Camp Rainbow. So that will run about 9 to 10 weeks depending, and then we have a week off for planning and kind of regrouping, and then we start up again. So we have a spring, summer, fall, winter semester is how it works out, and they're usually about 12 weeks with 1 week of planning, unless it's something, like I said, in July where we have Camp Rainbow, because we encourage our clients to go to Camp Rainbow. And summers are tough anyways for anybody.
Sure.
A lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like I mentioned before, they all go to summer camp, or they love telling us when they get back. So we give a lot of time off in the summer so that families can get together and have that family time too.
And at the end of the 12 weeks, because the curriculum changes, they're essentially graduating every time we close a semester. So we do a huge celebration ceremony. They're welcome to invite friends, family, but we honor the work that they've done for those previous 12 weeks every semester. So that's quite fun.
Have you had anyone who has been involved for a couple of years, or I mean,
Yes.
how has that worked? Because I mean, I know there was the starting point 3 years ago.
Yep.
And have there been some individuals that have been involved
The
ever
whole
since the inception?
Absolutely.
I would say probably just about, I mean, this is an guesstimate, but about 80% that started the 80%
there.
we have in our program now is started the program from the start.
From the beginning.
Yep. Yeah.
From the beginning.
And they may
as-
take a break.
Yeah.
That happens. They may kind of take a break, like, second
Sure.
semester, they're good, and then they come back. But yeah, our return volume's huge.
And I think with what you said earlier, which is the fact that even though you have the theme days, you're constantly changing what's within those themes, that somebody could continue to be engaged in the academy for forever, as long as you're changing up
Oh, yeah.
and
Yep.
they're getting new experiences and
Yes.
ways to become more independent. Because I think that's one of the keys that you've mentioned as well. There's the integration into the community factor, as well as the independence factor that you want and I know everybody's different,
Yeah.
but everyone to live as independently as they possibly can. And I know
Correct.
from speaking to a lot of individuals that they really want that, but I know that there's a lot of people who look at them through a different lens and
Yep.
feel that they probably can't live independently, so they just kind of chalk that off, that
Yeah.
there's no way they can learn,
Yeah.
which I think is a real misnomer.
I agree, Joe. The way we see it, there's no goal that's too small. You know what I mean? No goal
Yes.
too big or too small. If it's something as simple as I want to be able to make eggs by myself, something as little and basic as that could be huge to somebody else. So
Sure.
we honor those little goals. They're important.
And I think that gets back to the fact that even though you have X number of individuals in a class, that each and every one of them has their own individualized plan.
Yep.
So that it's not as if everybody's trying to achieve the same, going from 1 to 5 in a semester.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
like you said, Emily, some people getting from 1 to 2 is huge
It is.
because of their circumstances.
Yep. person-centered.
And I just want to state, because we haven't mentioned this at all yet, so we have a deaf classroom all itself too, which is taught to that deaf-to-deaf communication to make it so even our deaf community can be learning these goals too in the same way, and not having to have an interpreter in the room where they're learning from each other.
And when we take field trips, the deaf and hearing classes come together and have access to one another, and we have the hearing students who are engaging in sign language, who use their skills to socialize with the deaf students. So there's a lot of collaboration going on, a lot of integration in a lot of different ways.
That's excellent. Well, a lot of great work that's
thank
going
you.
on certainly at the Academy of Learning.
Yes.
And believe it or not, our time is up
Wow.
for this month already. I can't believe it.
I know.
But I do want to thank my guests, Amanda Morong and Emily Norris, for being on the show today and sharing their insights on the benefits provided by the Academy of Learning that result in increased independent living for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for spending time with us again this month. You can learn more about NCSS and all of our programs and services by logging on to ncssinc.org. I'm Joe Halco, and I'll be back next month with another episode of NCSS Here for You. This has been another episode of NCSS Here for You. We hope that you found today's discussion informative and educational. For over 50 years, Northwestern Counseling and Support Services has been providing access to quality psychosocial services to the residents of Franklin and Grand Isle counties. Over the years, as the needs of the community have changed, so too have the programs and services that we make available to assist children, adolescents, adults, families, and seniors. Thanks once again for tuning in this month. NCSS's purpose remains creating a stronger community, one person at a time.